Right, you guys, and welcome to a brand new video. And today, tonight, we are checking out this tornado that happened in 2024. This is the 2024 Elkhorn Blair tornado. This tornado was formed on April 26, 2024 at 3:30 p.m. and dissipated April 26, 2024 at 4:31 p.m. The destruction was 61 minutes, and this tornado was rated EF4 on the Enhanced Fujita scale with 170 mile per hour winds. 0 fatalities, 4 injuries, and the damage was $8 billion. Areas affected was Douglas and Washington and Harrison, Iowa. So make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and turn on post notifications because this video is about to be a good one. And I went all out for this video. So let's get into it.
On the afternoon of April 26, 2024, a large and violent tornado moved through the Omaha metropolitan area, striking the communities of Waterloo, Elkhorn, Bennington, and Blair in Nebraska, resulting in 4 injuries. 2. The tornado was part of a destructive tornado outbreak that occurred across the Midwestern, Southern, and High Plains regions of the United States between April 25th and 28th, and was the first of 2 violent tornadoes that occurred during the outbreak. The tornado reached peak intensity in the Omaha neighborhood of Elkhorn and south of the city of Blair, leading the National Weather Service in Omaha, Nebraska to assign a rating of low and EF4 on the Enhanced Fujita scale, with maximum wind speeds estimated at 170 miles per hour, 270 kilometers per hour. 3. Initially rated as a high-end EF4, first analysis revealed that the tornado was slightly stronger and was thus upgraded to EF4 in July 2024. As a result, this tornado was the first violent tornado of the 2024 season and the first of 2 EF4 tornadoes during the month of April, as well as being the first violent tornado in Nebraska since 2014, nearly a decade prior. Meteorological synopsis. The National Weather Service Doppler radar that has supercells moving through eastern Nebraska and western Iowa on April 26, 2024. Supercells moving through eastern Nebraska and western Iowa on April 26. A significant severe weather event was predicted to occur on the afternoon of April 26. The event was first forecasted to occur on April 20th, when a 15% risk area was issued across much of the south-central United States by the Storm Prediction Center for April 26th. 4. By April 23rd, the 15% area had been expanded tremendously, covering areas from the eastern Great Plains into the mid-Mississippi Valley. 5. On April 24th, the 15% risk area transitioned into slight risk area that covered the same area with no severe weather hazards expected. 6. With an increased risk of severe weather in place, the Storm Prediction issued a tornado watch for eastern Oklahoma on the morning of April 26th. 7. Several hours later, on the afternoon of April 26th, another tornado watch was implemented for northeastern Nebraska, which included the possibility for a couple of intense tornadoes. 8. The supercell that produced the Elkhorn EF4 tornado initiated in Republic County, Kansas. It matured and continued northeast for a little over 35 miles, 56 kilometers, where the first tornado warning was issued for the supercell in Jefferson County, Nebraska. No tornado was documented at that time. The supercell continued further northeast for about 45 miles, 72 kilometers. where it then produced an intense, photogenic tornado in northeastern Lincoln, Nebraska, the first tornado from the supercell. The tornado continued northeast for 8.55 miles and 13.76 kilometers before lifting north-northeast of Waterloo. The tornado was rated as a high-end EF3 on the Enhanced Fujita scale, with wind speeds estimated at 158 miles per hour, 254 kilometers per hour, reaching a peak width of 700 yards, 640 meters, along an 8.55-mile, 15.76 kilometers, remaining on the ground for 12 minutes. The supercell then produced two weak tornadoes near Blair and Ashland before producing the violent tornado that struck Elkhorn. Tornado 7. Douglas County. Track and intensity map of the tornado through Elkhorn. The tornado first touched down at 3:30 p.m. Central Daylight Saving Time south of West Key Road near the Platte River and traveled northeastward, damaging trees and farmstead outbuildings of EF0 EF1 intensity. 9, 10, 11. As the tornado crossed the intersection of Grover Street and South 252nd Street, it strengthened to mid-EF2 strength, where it ripped the roof off the home. 9. The tornado maintained EF2 strength as it crossed 192 near the intersection of US 275, where it damaged numerous homes and urban areas. 10. In the neighborhood, multiple center pivots were overturned. 10. The grain silo also sustained EF2 damage in this area. 9. Crossing US 275, the tornado struck several more acreages and damaged multiple homes and outbuildings of EF1 to EF2 intensity. The first of two tornado emergencies was issued for this tornado at that time as well. It would remain under this tag for essentially the rest of its existence. 12, 13. The tornado then weakened as it crossed 234th Street and I-28B, where it damaged a hose farm and a home of EF1 intensity. As the tornado crossed the Elkhorn River southeast of Waterloo, it caused EF0 to have damage to several trees and other center pivots. 9. Elkhorn and Bennington. Low-end EF4 damage to a mansion-style home along 216th Street in western Elkhorn. Catastrophic damage to homes in the Nebraska community of Elkhorn following April 2024 tornadoes. As the tornado entered the Omaha neighborhood of Elkhorn and at the intersection of 216th Street and 164, it abruptly became violent, leveling a home. In the initial final report on the tornado released in mid-July 2024, this damage was rated high-end EF3 with winds of 160 miles per hour, 260 kilometers per hour, due to the walls of the structure not being particularly well anchored. However, a reanalysis of this location later in the month revealed that a substantial portion of the home had been swept away and nearby trees were snapped with some debarking noted. Based on this, the damage rating of this location was upgraded to low-end EF4 with winds of 170 miles per hour, 270 kilometers per hour. It was also concluded that the location may have been hit by a sub-vortex with a slightly longer vortex residence time noted here. The tornado also collapsed metal light poles near the Prospect Hill Cemetery, 9, 10, where several headstones were damaged. 10. The tornado then damaged the Heritage Nursery landscaping business before moving into the Ramberwood subdivision, where it was approximately 0.7 miles, 1.1 kilometers from the wood. 9, 10. The tornado had weakened slightly, but remained at high EF3 intensity as it struck the subdivision, where it damaged or destroyed numerous homes with winds up to 155 miles per hour, 249 kilometers per hour. 9, 10. Many homes were left almost completely flattened, and other homes collapsed after being shifted off their foundations. 9. Continuing northeast, the tornado again became violent as it struck multiple homes along Powell Street and Waterloo Avenue. Two homes along Waterloo Avenue that were newly built and newly anchored with nails and anchor bolts to a sill plate were leveled and swept away. Damage at these two homes was initially rated mid-range EF3, but was up to low-end EF4 in the analysis. Other homes in this area were also leveled or had some or all of their exterior walls knocked down. Another building system was heavily damaged, and some trees were snapped. 9. The tornado then passed 4th Street and struck another subdivision at EF3 strength, damaging several new homes, including one home that had all of its exterior walls knocked down and a newly built home that was leveled. 9. Exiting the subdivision, the tornado grew to almost a mile wide and crossed M31, snapped numerous wooden and steel power poles and trees. 10. The tornado then narrowed to a half-mile wide and weakened to EF1 strength as it continued northeastward, snapping trees and damaging the roofs of outbuildings and homes. The tornado then reached EF2 intensity again southwest of Bennington on roofing homes and snapping trees in a residential area. Continuing northeastward, the tornado intensified further to high-end EF2 intensity as it struck a development along Newport Landing Lake to the west of Bennington.
Who said that?
Homes in this area suffered extensive damage with roofs removed and exterior walls knocked down, and power poles and trees were snapped. After crossing the lake in M36, the tornado continued to snap trees and power lines and damage outbuildings at EF1 intensity before moving into Washington County. 9. Washington County. Track an intensity map of the tornado south of The tornado regained EF2 strength upon entering the county, causing moderate to heavy damage to homes and damaging or destroying outbuildings well east of Washington. It further strengthened and briefly reached low-end EF3 intensity near the intersection of County Road 39 and County Road 40, where an unanchored home was shifted entirely off its foundation and destroyed with nearby trees snapped and debarked. A flatbed and horse trailers on the property were rolled or lifted, and the machine shop and horse barns were destroyed, killing at least one horse and injuring several others. Another unanchored home was shifted off its foundation and partially collapsed.
Anyway you want it, but you decided to be here with me. Talking like a
As it
bitch,
approached
they were meant to
133,
be.
the tornado continued to cause mid-range to high-end EF2 damage, ripping the roofs off and knocking down the exterior walls of homes, damaging or destroying outbuildings, damaging at least one mobile home, snapping wooden power poles, and snapping or uprooting numerous trees. One home along County Road 36 was left with only interior walls standing, and the damage there was rated mid-range EF3. The tornado's width ranged from 1/3 to 1/2 mile wide along this portion of its path. 9. A home destroyed at low-end EF4 intensity south of Blair. After crossing out 133, the tornado rapidly intensified and became violent for the third time as it impacted small neighborhoods to the south of Blair. Several homes were completely destroyed, including some that were swept away. These homes were either unanchored or poorly anchored, and the damage was rated high-end EF3 with winds of 165 miles per hour, 266 kilometers per hour. However, one of the swept-away homes received a low-end EF4 rating in the reanalysis. Other homes in the area were also unroofed with some or all of the exterior walls knocked down. Northeast of there, the tornado inflicted EF2 damage to homes before destroying another unanchored home at mid-range EF3 intensity and causing extensive tree damage. The tornado then weakened, causing EF0 EF1 damage to homes and trees as it approached US 75. EF2 damage occurred as the tornado crossed US 75, where an unanchored home was shifted off its foundation and leveled. Other homes suffered minor to heavy roof damage, trees and power poles were snapped, and several 50 feet, 15 meters of tank cars and cargo craft were derailed. Close-range radar image of the violent tornado approaching Blair on April 26, 2024. Power dissipation. The tornado then weakened again and crossed the Missouri River into Iowa, producing EF0 damage to trees as it moved northeastward. The tornado then crossed over US 30 and moved across bottom line, agricultural areas at EF0 EF1 intensity, snapping or uprooting many trees and tipping over center covens. The tornado then turned east-northeast and dissipated south of Madera at 4:31 p.m. Central Daylight Saving Time after being on the ground for 61 minutes, traveling 32.50 miles, 52.30 kilometers, and reaching a width of 1,900 yards, 1,700 meters. 4 people were injured, 2 10. Post-analysis upgrade. On April 29, 2024, the National Weather Service in Omaha, Nebraska released their preliminary damage survey results for the April 26 tornadoes. Initially, the Elkhorn tornado received a high-end EF3 rating, with wind speeds estimated at 165 miles per hour, 266 kilometers per hour. A path width of 1,600 yards, 1,500 meters, and a path length of 32.33 miles, 52.03 kilometers, was determined as well. 10. In the final report issued by the NCEI in mid-July, the truck was shortened to 39.89 miles, 51.32 kilometers, while the width was widened to 1,900 yards, 1,700 meters. 2. However, in late July 2024, the National Weather Service completed substantial reanalysis of the Elkhorn tornado, including direct comparisons to other tornado damage of similar magnitude, forensic analysis, and careful evaluation of newly available high-resolution aerial imagery immediately after the tornado occurred in power to clean up. This new data suggested that a few small areas of low EF4 damage did occur in the Elkhorn tornado, with wind speeds estimated at 170 miles per hour, 270 kilometers per hour. 3. Although an increase of 5 miles per hour from the previous EF rating, this upgraded the tornado from a high-end EF3 to a low-end EF4 on the Enhanced Fujita scale. An updated path length of 32.49 miles, 52.29 kilometers, was also determined, although the path width remained unchanged. The upgrade to EF4 enables the first violent tornado to occur in the state of Nebraska since June 16, 2014, as well as the first violent tornado of the 2024 season, surpassing the Marietta, Oklahoma tornado that occurred the following day. 10. The tornado was rated as a low-end EF4 with wind speeds estimated at 170 miles per hour, 270 kilometers per hour, reaching a peak width of 1,900 yards, 1,700 meters, along a 32.49 miles, 52.29 kilometers, remaining on the ground for 61 minutes. 4 injuries occurred, with no fatalities. The same supercell would later produce 4 other weak tornadoes, including a large high-end EF1 tornado east of Pisgah, Iowa that severely damaged several homes. None of the other tornadoes would cause significant damage. 9. A curfew was implemented in Washington County, Nebraska, from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. for several days after the tornado struck in order to prevent looting and sightseeing. 13.
Alright, you guys, and that is the end of this video. Again, this is the 2024 Elkhorn Blair tornado. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and turn on post notifications. You will be notified every single time Tornadoes Man posts a brand new video. Peace.